Hello, Boss Kids. It's me, Nala Akban, here again. Today, we're going to be talking about foreign language degrees and what opportunities you can get with them and why we chose to do them. My name is Nala Akban, and I am a modern languages and cultures major, specializing in Chinese and Korean, as well as an Asian studies major. And I plan to teach overseas. And let's go on to our interns here who are also foreign language majors. So tell me about yourselves. First, to start with you, Bliss.
Hi, my name is Bliss. I am an Asian Studies major with a minor in Korean and dance. My plans for the future include either being an interpreter for the government dealing in like foreign compliance, and then I have a second plan to teach in Korea. That's like my plan B. And yeah, that's basically about me. Did you want to move on, Archie?
Yeah. So, hi, I'm Audrey. I'm an intern this summer. My major's in biology. I have minors in Japanese and Asian studies. I hopefully plan to apply for like the JET program, which is a program that will bring you overseas to like teach in Japan and be able to be around the culture. The reason why I chose to do like Japanese and get into it was mostly because of like inspirational teachers that I was around and like just seeing the culture and like honestly anime and stuff like that.
And so all three of us have foreign language backgrounds. We also go to the same school. We all go to the same school. We all have the same professor that got us this job here at Boss Kids. And so we all have a lot of things in common. I've had a class before with Bliss before, right? And so we all kind of similar things. We all are specializing in slightly different majors. Like my focus is in Chinese and my second language is Korean, while Bliss's like main language is Korean and Audrey's main language is Japanese. So we kind of have the big three of East Asia on our thing, which is very interesting. And so some statistics that I like to talk about is one, why would someone even want to learn a second language? We have the privilege of being American and like living in America.
I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free.
And with that comes with our first language tends to be English, which is like the universal language people speak across the world. Like if you don't speak the language of that country, they'll default to English usually. And that's a privilege that we have where we don't even need to learn a second language. It's really like a we want to.
It was mainly because of the culture for me. I was first introduced to Korean culture during the time when Hallyu or the Korean wave was like super popular here in Korea. Like it was, I believe it was in like 2017. There was a little bit before that, but I believe it got super duper popular in like starting 2017.
That's when I got into K-pop too. So I think it's around like 2016, 2017, especially with like the BTS are getting really popular.
Right. I was actually like the first ever Korean like music video thing that I ever saw that got me interested was the Save Me music video by BTS. I remember seeing it and I was like, what is this? This is awesome. And then I basically just dove down the rabbit hole from there because YouTube kept recommending me more and more and more K-pop groups. And then from there, it moved on to Korean dramas. And then in the Korean dramas, they were eating like Korean food. So I got interested in that. And I did a lot of research on Korean food places here in Georgia. And there are also like a lot of Korean food places. And after that, I was like, you know what? I would be happy with this being something that is a part of my life forever, honestly. And so after that, I was like, what can I do with this in order for it to be a part of my life? So I started researching careers. That's how I came to like the conclusion of being either an interpreter or a teacher. And then there are also some positions at Hyundai here in Georgia where you can be like an automotive sales specialist, a sales internet manager, things like that. So there's a lot of career opportunities for someone who speaks Korean or is just wanting to be more like a part of the Korean culture, even if you don't speak Korean.
Yeah.
So that's what got me interested in it.
And a good thing about us living in Georgia is that a statistic that like you can see on our school's website, which is Kansas State University, the Korean major, it literally says that the third most spoken language within Georgia is Korean.
Amazing.
I also wanted to add, if you're more of like a remote work type of person working from home, being bilingual, even if it isn't in Korean, is like a really good thing for that, because there's like a lot of job opportunities if you speak Korean that are remote job opportunities and allow you to work from home. So that's also one of the things I forgot to say that drew me in, because I'm not always the social person.
The world still is the same.
So working from home is like something that's like a dream job for me.
Yeah. And I guess out of the three, I guess it makes sense because, like Korea and Japan have a huge soft power influence with like their media and their culture. That is like the huge biggest draw of like Japan and Korea to like foreign markets is like their industries such as, K-pop, K-beauty, anime, manga, all these things are like these huge exports out of Japan and Korea. So you might be like, why did I choose Chinese? That's one that, we don't really have a lot of exports from, besides like, made in China stuff, right? But we don't really have like a huge cultural export of Chinese products because of the Great Firewall in China, which is a block on foreign media within China. It was just out around like 1990s that it was pushed out. 1990s, early 2000s is kind of when that was pushed out. And the reason how I got into Chinese is because I was trying to learn Japanese. And because I also liked anime growing up, right? I grew up with that. I had older brother 2 years older than me. Grew up watching him watch anime. I grew up watching Naruto, watch Inuyasha, all this stuff. So I always liked Japanese. And I always wanted to learn it, but I had a hard time learning kanji, which is the Chinese characters that are in Japanese. I couldn't really like stick with kanji. And my high school offered Chinese, which is very interesting for a school because a lot of schools don't offer Chinese. They offer like Spanish, French, and that's really it. Maybe German, maybe Latin. They rarely ever do Chinese. So my school had Chinese, and I was originally taking French. And my friend was like, if you join the Chinese class and take the Chinese culture club, I will teach you kanji. And you know what she never did? Teach me kanji. And so I got in Chinese through my school from that way. But I also like Korean stuff. I got into Korean stuff because my friends spoke Korean and I felt left out, so I wanted to learn Korean. And I didn't want to learn Japanese and Chinese at the same time because they're similar alphabets. I didn't want to confuse myself. So I do plan to learn Japanese in the future. But I've always had a thing about learning like culture and stuff like that because it's fun, right? And so y'all talked a little bit about like what y'all want to do with your majors. So have y'all gotten any opportunities from being a part of the foreign language major?
Yeah, I actually have an opportunity to study abroad in the fall at Seoul Women's University. It's a little nerve-wracking because I'm still trying to get a few of the costs of like transportation there, costs of living there. I even plan to have a part-time job while I'm there as well. So it's a little nerve-wracking getting all of that together, but it's an amazing opportunity. I can't wait for my Korean to improve while I'm there. And I'll also still be taking some of my basic core classes that will be taught in English in order to graduate from KSU in the fall as well. So yeah, that's my opportunity.
Oh, we're so graduating around the same time.
Slay!
Nice!
Slay!
Nice! So you're going to be spending your last semester overseas then?
Yeah, hopefully. If I can afford it, hopefully. But I've been applying for scholarships nonstop. So I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get there. I have faith that I'll get there.
Fighting. What about you, Audrey? I know you talked about some opportunities. You talked about the JET program. Can you explain a little more about the JET program?
So I haven't known anyone specifically to go in the JET program, but like my teacher's like husband went into it and he was like, great opportunity. It's basically a program where you can apply to teach in Japan. It can be from like elementary to high school, anything like that, and you can teach any of those across Japan. It's a really nice program. It will pay like based on your location, and you can go like to not only Tokyo, but you can go to like very like tiny cities that have never seen like anyone speak English more than likely. So you have such a range you could go to. I know one guy went to like an island that like they hadn't even seen anyone who was like, he was blonde. They haven't seen a blonde person. So multiple people were coming up to him and be like, can I take a picture? Like, that's so cool. And it's like, you got to be like really well versed in the culture, not just like the Tokyo culture where it's like tourism and stuff. You got to be like in Japanese culture of like their society, how they function as a society. Yeah. So like that is such a great opportunity. And to like go over there and like be in there, especially like I can't study abroad just because like I am so close to the end at this point. So like all of my higher level classes.
Oh, so we're all like graduating soon.
Yeah, I'm graduating in December. So like,
oh wow, we're literally all graduating at the same time.
Yeah.
That's fine that we're all graduating. We're all gonna be at the same ceremony. That's crazy. We're all gonna be in the same ceremony. Because what are y'all? I guess we're all seniors technically. Mm-hmm. When did y'all graduate high school?
2020.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, we're all just the same, right? See, the foreign language makes you like do one semester extra every time. Everyone who does like foreign languages, you end up always having one extra semester. I felt bad at first. I was like, oh, I'm not graduating the 4-year thing like most people did. And it's like, it's the foreign language degree. You're gonna end up doing one extra semester regardless of what you do.
Yeah. It's so worth it too, just to be able to like be involved with the foreign language, even if you do have to take an extra semester. Because I know there's so much shame sometimes involved with like seeing all your peers graduate on social media and like post about it. And it's like, sometimes you just gotta be like, okay, well, foreign language was what I wanted to do. So like, I just gotta get over it.
Yeah, and the major is very small. So it's kind of hard to like have classes offered all the time, right?
Yeah.
What are you saying, Liz?
And I never understood the shame behind that because like graduating is what's most important. Why does it matter when you graduate, you know?
Exactly. But back into the foreign language topic. Since Audrey talked about the JET program, which is the Japanese Education, what's the T stand for?
Don't know. I probably should, but I've never heard anyone like say out the letters.
But like, what are some Korean versions of that they have in Korea for teaching abroad?
I'm not entirely sure, to be honest with you. Simply because teaching abroad has always been like a plan B for me.
Yeah.
I was always focused on interpretation and translating programs. And I know that it's like a really intensive training when it comes to translation and interpretation careers. There's even a certification that you have to get. I think there's a certification course that you can go through at Georgia State, if I'm not mistaken. And outside of that, obviously, if you're going to go into the government at like, for instance, I'll say like in Georgia, if you're going to go to the governmental office to be an interpreter or translator, there's like a really intensive training that you have to go through where you're like quizzed, you're basically put into, you know, what's the word? The situation where you have to be able to interpret.
Like immersive learning? Like immersive?
Immersive. Where basically you have to be able to like learn to interpret as a person is talking like that, you know? Because I don't know if a lot of people know it, but whenever you see like governmental conferences on television where many people come together from different countries, usually they'll have a mic on and then somebody else will be sitting in a booth outside of the view of the camera interpreting what the main person is talking about or what the other person is talking about to them. And that's how they're able to communicate. And
that's a job
like the type of job that I'd be doing, basically.
Yeah, it's funny, but we're kind of the opposite, where my backup was translating. I always wanted to teach in general. And so programs like for Korean, there's the EPIC program, there's the TALK program. Those are programs that like they will fly you out. They will pay for your plane ticket, they'll pay for your housing, or they do pay for like utility costs, like water bills, like that. those are programs that let you study, like teach abroad, right? I'm not sure if it's the same for the JET program. And then for Chinese, there is, I know Kids for Kids is one that you can do for teaching in English overseas. They have like a 1 to 2 year contract usually that you do for these programs where you get to teach for about a year or two, and they pay for your housing, they pay for your plane tickets. You get to like explore a different country without like the pressure of having to pay for it, right? And it's very nice. My camera keeps going blurry. Okay, it's back to normal, right? And so some last minute statistics that I did want to say is that first, also back to the translating thing. I think it would be very fun to translate on the side while I teach in Korea and like translate for like webtoons, which is a big thing in Korea, which is like web comics, because I'm an artist, right? And I don't want to make my own comics. So I think it would be very fun because a lot of comics are Korean, web comics are, right? And of course, like manga is Japanese, and then manhwa is Chinese, all these things. I would love to translate for them on the side while I'm also teaching to get like into the industry of translation, which is a different process than you need to do for government translation, right? Because government translation, you can't make a mistake.
Nice.
It's live. You cannot make a mistake. That could actually be like a political thing.
I'm scared, honestly.
Yeah, that's a big thing. And probably a lot of good money in it too.
I remembered something while you were talking. There's this program called SMO. It's the Seoul Metropolitan Office of Education. And basically, like, Epic will present people that are eligible, like candidates. Like, they'll present them to SMO, and then SMO hires those candidates to, like, schools, basically. I remembered that while you were talking. So that's another program. SMO.
And so just to wrap up all those points, is that the reason why you should learn a second language is because one, communication with other people is a very big thing. Communicating with other people is just a nice thing. Learning people's culture, it changes your perspective on a lot of things.
You make my heart feel super happy.
That you might be like, why does this culture do this one thing? And it's like, okay, a lot of it has like a huge historical aspect to it. But also like, getting some more statistics about it. In the United States, the most spoken languages, or for like expats moving to the US, the most languages that they speak tend to be Spanish, Chinese, Tagalog, Vietnamese, and Arabic are the top languages that are spoken in the United States for people moving to the US, right? And so that's a lot of business opportunities in between. The most spoken languages in the world is Chinese. But you see that a lot of these are like Asian languages as well. And so those like help you get into, besides Spanish, right? Those are like a very good cross-cultural exchange. And also with foreign language degrees, the most popular jobs tend to be teaching. That's like the most popular jobs, education, then it's management, business, financial opportunities, healthcare, and office administration are like the biggest things people do if they have a foreign language degree. So that's some of the things that you can do and like look forward to. And in future podcasts, we'll talk more business stuff. This is more about like why we decided to do it, right? So those are some statistics about like why it's also a good idea to start teaching and why we like get interested in like learning it and studying it. But to wrap up this episode, goodbye, boss kids, right? Do you have any language that you want to learn? Have you studied any languages before? What are some resources you have for studying languages that we haven't talked about in this episode? We can get more into that if you want to see more of us. And these are our new like little interns here, so like maybe they can join us for that too if you're interested in that. But thank you for joining us in this episode today, and see you next time. Bye, boss kids. Remember to like, subscribe.
Bye.
Bye. Love y'all, boss kids.